Hi there, I'm Micah, a student at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Today, I'll be presenting a guide on some of the EV chargers in the area and how to use them. Maybe you just got a new EV and are afraid of being stranded, or you're curious about what chargers are in the area. Either way, this video is for you. In this video, we'll go over three main topics. First, we'll talk about what kinds of chargers work with your car and how to locate them. Then, we'll talk about how to activate those chargers when you actually get to them, and how to stop charging. Finally, we'll talk about what to do if something goes wrong, and who you can contact if something goes catastrophically wrong. 1. How to locate chargers. A. What charging port does your car have? Let's start with knowing what chargers work with your car. The first big thing to know is what charging ports your car has. As it currently stands, in North America, there are three main options, with a fourth being phased out. The easiest way to tell which port your car has is to locate the charging port on your car and then visually identify what's there. As you can see on your screen currently, the three high-speed options are CCS, NACS, and CHAdeMO. J1772, on the other hand, is mainly used for slower speed charging. One thing you should note is that if your car has CCS, the large one with the two contactors at the bottom, you can also plug J1772 into the top portion, in addition to making use of the lower portion for high-speed charging. Once you know, please make sure to remember which one you have. It's essential for being able to find chargers which work with your car. B. How to actually find chargers. Your best friend in finding chargers is going to be PlugShare, a free mapping service started in 2009. This website allows people to comment on chargers, gives information on availability, and even has pricing. You can find the website listed in the description as www.plugshare.com. Let's take a look at the site and learn how to tailor it so it only shows chargers which work with your car. When you first look at the site, you'll see something like this. The first step will be to dismiss the pop-up asking you to sign up or to sign in. You can click the gray X in the corner to make it go away. It will then take a few seconds and load up a selection of the chargers on the map. Don't worry, this overview of the US only shows a small fraction of the actual chargers. Next, let's zoom in on your area with the mouse wheel. You can see that as I zoom, more chargers load in. Now that we've focused on your region, let's turn on a filter so it only shows chargers that work with your car. Move your mouse over to the left-hand side of the screen and select the text that says Filters. Then, you can see that the menu expands and has loads of information. Scroll down past the amenities and the other sections until you get to the Vehicles and Plugs section. Then, you may have to click a drop-down, or it may be already opened. Finally, you'll be able to see the plug selection. Please click the ones that your car has, and for cars which have CCS, click both CCS and J1772. I don't know why they hid this absolutely essential function of their website. It really is a pain. Now, we can finally see all the stations that will work with your car. Let's take a look at one example so you can understand what to look for. I live near the UNM area, so I'll look at a station on UNM's campus. First, I'll zoom into the area and then I'll click on one of the pins. Green indicates that the station is functioning and has at least one open charger, while gray indicates that it's working but full. Orange with a pump icon indicates that PlugShare doesn't know how many spaces are open, so you can still go to those locations and charge if you're willing to deal with the possibility of having to wait. Watch out for orange pins with a wrench icon. They indicate that the station is out of order or needs repairs. Once we click onto a map pin, we can see all of its details. The core information is listed at the top of the sidebar on the left-hand side of the screen. Here, you can see the address, the pricing, and the charger's hours for when they're open. If you scroll down, you can see the number of available plugs and reviews that people have left. One thing to note is the yellow highlighted kilowatt rate. That indicates how fast the charger is. A higher number indicates that the car will charge faster there. 2. How to activate chargers. Next, let's move on to the most important part, actually getting electricity flowing. The three main networks in Albuquerque are ChargePoint, Electrify America, and Tesla. I'll showcase using each of them in that order with instructions on how to get power flowing. Up until recently, you actually had to download an app for each individual charging network, but it seems that things have really developed away from that. Now, you can just tap your credit card to authorize payment at most stations, although some, like Tesla, still utilize an app. A. ChargePoint. ChargePoint is my favorite network in Albuquerque simply because of how dang many of them there are. You can check PlugShare to see where they are, but at the time of recording this, there were 63 ChargePoint units in town, making up just about under half of the stations in the city. Activating a ChargePoint station is simple. Once you pull up, you can immediately tap your credit or debit card on the station, and after it authorizes, it should make a loud clicking sound. That's the sound of the cables being unlocked. After that, you can plug in and power should start flowing. When it comes time to end charging, it's quite easy. Just press down on the plastic piece on top, and that will disengage the electricity. From there, you should be able to pull the cable out of your car. One thing to note about ChargePoint is that they offer a Tap to Charge card, which you can request through their app or website. That card isn't necessary to charge here, but if you do get it, I find it useful because you can just leave the card sitting out in your car somewhere convenient, instead of having to dig out your wallet every time you want to charge. It also lets you charge at other networks that have partnered with ChargePoint, like Blink, Iona, and several others. Again, completely unnecessary, but something neat to check out if you're interested. B. Electrify America. I've only had minimal experience with Electrify America, but this network is common because they've partnered with stores like Smith's Grocery and Walmart to place their chargers in high-traffic parking lots. Opposed to ChargePoint, you drive up to their stations and plug in first. Then you can tap your card to start charging. One thing to note is that Electrify America only has fast chargers, which are more expensive than their slower counterparts, and that each charger cabinet at their stations will have a higher or lower charge rate, ranging from older 50 kilowatt CHAdeMO chargers up to the 350 kilowatt hyper-fast CCS chargers. For the fastest charge, it's best to use the ones with a higher kilowatt rating. When you're ready to unplug, you can just hit the stop button on the screen, so it's going to be this far right one. Press it. It should think for a second, click, and then it's done. And it just tells you, you have 10 minutes to move your car. And then it'll tell you how much you have to pay and stuff. But then it should be pretty easy. Just press this. This is for CHAdeMO, but press the thing in and then just pull it out and it comes out. And then you can put it back in there. Don't leave it lying on the ground because that's bad etiquette, but yeah, anywho. C. Tesla. Of these three, Tesla is simultaneously the most difficult, but also the easiest one to use. If you have a Tesla car, all you need to do is simply insert the cable into your car's charging port, and power will start flowing. Your payment information was already given when you got the car, so the charger can automatically start working without you having to do anything. On the other hand, if you have any other car brand, good luck. Tesla's network is unfortunately closed to many auto manufacturers. Although you can use their app to start charging with certain cars. Unfortunately, I don't have a car to showcase this feature on, so you'll have to look elsewhere for a guide on how to use Tesla chargers with non-Tesla cars. 3. What to do when things go wrong. In this section, we'll go over the solutions to two common problems that I've seen people run into. A. Cable getting stuck. The number one problem I've seen is that the cable gets stuck in the car and won't come out while charging. The first thing to try is stopping the charging via the station itself. On an Electrify America station, this means pressing the button on the station to navigate to stop charging. For Tesla, you should press in the circle on the cable. On ChargePoint stations, you'll have to do one of these three things. Press the stop button for fast chargers. Unlock your car, sometimes that can stop charging. And the third option is to tap your payment card or ChargePoint card again to stop the charge. Of course, if that doesn't work, your best shot is to call ChargePoint support and get them to unlock the cable for you. I'll have the phone numbers of ChargePoint, Electrify America, and Tesla on screen at the end of the video if you need it. B. Slow, no charging. The next most common issue is basically zero charging speed. The most common cause of this is that the station is broken, so you'll have to swap to another one. Sometimes just swapping which cable you're plugged into, in the case of a 2-cable station, can fix it. Other times, you'll have to move to a completely different station. The second most common cause is that your car is simply full. When an EV gets close to 100% full, the rate of charging drops dramatically. Because of this, and because charging to 100% hurts the battery, it's always best to charge to only 80% if you don't need the extra range. C. Who to call? Well, that's all I have for this video. As promised, here's the support numbers for all 3 networks that I featured in this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any additional questions or want clarification on something, feel free to leave a comment. If you want more EV content, well, you can subscribe to my channel, although I'm not sure that I'll make anything like this for a while.